Hey everybody, Ali Craig here, and on this week's episode of Soul Style, we are talking about who are you really dressing for? You know, people like to think that fashion and style and what we wear doesn't matter, but it really does. But most of the time, we haven't really stopped to think what in the world we're really saying. We just kind of fall into our wardrobes. Well, what I've learned over the last 20 years of working with brands and people there's a couple of ways in which this falling into our wardrobes happens. Number one, we keep everything from when we were the most fashion conscious. Our most fashion conscious years are normally between the ages of 16 and 21. So we kind of keep those patterns in that style element that we had back then, and we just keep replicating it because we think it worked for us then, it should still be working for us now. But that's how you end up with adult women wearing blue eyeshadow like they really shouldn't. And you end up with people wearing clothes that are too short or too small that just don't work for who they are now. The other option of what ends up happening is society ends up influencing us. And we end up dressing for who was the icon of where we are now, but in TV of when we were most influenced by TV. So that age range of 16 to 21, that is the time society influences us the most. That's why we're most obsessed with fashion at that time. But that time is also when we're most obsessed with movies and television and other modern day stories. So I'm going to bet that for most of you, go look at what was the most popular TV or movie in that time frame between when you were 16 to 21 and see how the main characters who are in your age range now, so if now you're a 40-year-old mom, go see who were the 40-year-old moms in those movies and TV shows, and I'm going to bet with pretty good certainty you're dressing just like them. For many of my clients, their 16 to 21 age range was in the 90s when the show Home Improvement was the most popular TV show in the United States. And many of my clients dress like the mom from Home Improvement. They dress like Jill Taylor. Why do we do this? Because that was the time that we were modeling after our audience. That was the time we were most influenced by society. And because we model our behavior naturally as human beings, we have subconsciously modeled the style of Jill Taylor into modern day life. Lastly, the way we are influenced by our style is hopefully by our personality, hopefully by our SoulFire, hopefully by what is our passions in life. And that is what should be influencing us in our style. The good news is that we can change it. No matter if you are trying to live your better years when you were 16 to 21 to this day, or you're dressing like the Jill Taylors of your era today, we can stop all that by just beginning to really explore what it is that we want in our style. How do we want to come across? How do we want to be portrayed? And when we know that, when we know how we want to come across, what are the relationships we're looking for, what are the outcomes we're looking for in life, how we wear and what we wear and where we wear it, that becomes pretty simple fashion. And that's a really good thing. Style doesn't have to be complicated. It's meant to be an extension of showing your personality and showing off who you really are.